Welcome into the Ohio State Football Report. I am Tom Downey. As promised, we are going to preview the National Championship game, Ohio State against Notre Dame, for all the marbles in the CFP Championship matchup. If you, which I think is this relates to every single person watching, if you want Ohio State to win the National Championship like today's show, don't be the person who doesn't like it. And then Ohio says, we have the data to prove it. The more likes we get on a video, the more likely it is Ohio State comes out on top. So like that video if you want the Buckeyes to win the national championship. Let's talk injuries here before we get too far along. I do want to mention JTT, whether it was a low ankle sprain, whatever, did tweak that ankle against Texas, did come back into the game. So I would bet he's kind of limited at practice this week. The adrenaline will wear off. It'll hurt a little bit more. I'm sure it did hurt more the next morning. I would expect that he's able to play. Will Howard, with that massive bump on his non-throwing hand, didn't seem to matter. Played pretty well in the game overall. Again, I don't think there'll be any issues there. I'm sure they'll find a way to get that whatever it was, bone bruise, swelling, etc. down. He's going to play. And also, want to see Cody Simon back out there because he also checked back in the game after his lower body injury. So stuff that's worth monitoring, absolutely. But not necessarily a massive concern right now. I think those guys will be okay. All right, Notre Dame does have several key injuries. Anthony Knapp is first up here. He has actually already been ruled out of this game. Not terribly surprising. That didn't look very good. He's not going to be able to play, so it's going to be Tosh Baker, and he did not play well at left tackle. Notre Dame's going to make adjustments. Ohio State should attack the heck out of Baker. Rocco Spindler, this one was a little bit more up in the air for Marcus Freeman, more of a we'll see on that front. Spindler, we'll see if he can get back out there. Again, that very talented Ohio State front is going to have a really, I think, chance to make some big-time plays against the Fighting Irish. All right, Jeremiyah Love has not been 100% with a knee injury. He's been able to play through things, though. So I'm not too worried about that front. I think Love will be out there. And we'll also see about Bo Collins, who left the Penn State game with a calf injury. The Fighting Irish receiving corps has not been good this year. It's been pretty lacking. Collins has been one of their more productive ones. So we'll have to keep an eye on Collins and that entire Notre Dame offense with all the banged. That's four starters banged up on that side of the ball. Now, when it comes to the injuries for the Buckeyes, what is your concern level over it? Scale it for me from 1 to 10. 1 on the low end, 10 on the high end. Go vote at the pinned comments of today's show. Let's talk keys to victory. Number 1, this should not be a surprise, stopping the run. This is what Notre Dame wants to do. This is what they want to be. They want and need to be a run-first football team. They will use Riley Leonard on the ground. They will use Jeremiyah Love a lot. Now, Love didn't do much in his second college football playoff game. He had the 98-yard touchdown run against Indiana, had a really strong showing against Penn State, had some really impressive runs, a fantastic athlete. He's only a sophomore. He's going to be one of the best backs in football next year. They're going to try to get him going early and often. So if you can limit Jeremiyah Love, if you can make Riley Leonard beat you, I would guarantee the game plan going in this week from Jim Knowles' company is let's make Riley Leonard beat us. Because if that happens, so be it. But I do think that's going to be the game plan here going into this matchup. It is to make Riley Leonard beat you and see how the rest of the things play out. Don't let Jeremiyah Love pop off for 7 yards a carry and a bunch of big chunk gains. Don't let Jadarian Price make plays. Make Notre Dame beat you. In that Penn State-Notre Dame game, there were like 6 catches by receivers combined. So stopping the run is going to be massive for Ohio State. All right, next up, simply protect the football. Let me know, in terms of how important Turner Battle has been, of course, over the years, but I think that not making mistakes, not turning the football over when you are favored does go a long way. We've seen this time and time again. In the past, talk about the underdog side of it. Underdogs can often pull off upsets when they're taking the football away. No fumbles. You can even argue no self-inflicted wounds. I need Will Howard to not make the big mistake, so to speak. Now, the guy to monitor here Xavier Watts out of Notre Dame. 6 interceptions this season. He is a fantastic football player, consistently around the ball. He has great range, can play in the box, around the box. This is a dynamic football player. So I'm always checking. First thing, okay, where is Xavier Watts lined up? Don't let self-inflicted wounds be the reason you lose this game. Now, who wins the turnover battle? O for Ohio State, N for Notre Dame. Let me know in the comments of today's show. Next key to victory, we kind of mentioned this a little bit. You got to pressure Riley Leonard. And I think the performances so far from the Ohio State front, which has consistently and impactfully been able to get pressure with 4, goes such a long way. The defensive creative freedom that you are offered on the defense side of the ball, when you are able to get pressure with 4, is so important. It truly is. Being able to get pressure with 4 allows a lot of creativity in the back end with your looks, and it has been the play of these young pass rushers, or not young, but they're veteran pass rushers, has gone a long way. Jack Sawyer's got the fumble recovery. He had a sack against Texas, 2 against Oregon, sack and a half against Tennessee. He has 4.5 sacks this year. He had 9, or 4.5 sacks in the CFP. He has 9 the entire season. This is a player playing at his best at the most important time of the season, and that is also true of JTT. He's got 5.5 sacks in the CFP. He has 11.5 this year. The 5.5 is more than what he had all of last year. Sack and a half against Texas, 2 against Oregon, 2 against Tennessee. This level of play, peaking at the right time for a defense that just seems fired up every time they step out there, matters. And given Notre Dame's offensive deficiencies, I like that for the Buckeyes. Now, today's show is made possible by Game Time. Game Time's got a new feature. It's called Game Time Picks. It makes getting tickets for events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to only show you incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets to find the best value. It is curation to make it easier to find better value on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, everything else in between. NHL, Ohio State basketball, and of course the National Championship as well. Use the all-in pricing feature to see your total cost up front, so there are no surprise fees at checkout. The Game Time guarantee is this: if you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Download the Game Time app today over at GameTime.co. Create your account. Use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. But again, create your account. Redeem code CHATSPORTS, ChatSports, for $20 off. Download Game Time today for last-minute tickets, lowest price, all guaranteed, and of course, terms apply. Fourth key to victory: don't let Notre Dame hang around. Don't let them. Penn State had a chance to put that game away. They had a chance to do it, and they did not. Notre Dame hung around. They came back. They fought, and they won. Penn State has not been a great second-half team. Ohio State hasn't had to be a second-half team for much of the college football playoff, but they were against Texas. They had the massive screenplay to Travion Henderson. They had really great defensive performances. Lock down the Notre Dame offense and do what they've done a lot, and that is strike early. Those opening game scripts for Ohio State have been incredible. If you can build a 2.5 score, 3 score lead early, challenging, I know, against a good defense like Notre Dame, but that is a lot for a bad Irish passing offense to overcome from. Make them as one-dimensional as possible. So give me your score predictions of Ohio State against Notre Dame. Let me know in the comment section of today's show. Finally, score your touchdowns in the red zone. Finish off those drives. Penn State, again, we'll go back to this game. They had their chances. That early drive for Penn State, they get all the way down to the 1-yard line, and they have to settle for a field goal. It's not what they wanted to do. We all know that. They finished off some other drives there. They had near red zone turnovers, though, as well. I would like to get Jeremiah Smith going fully as well. I do want to mention this one here as part of like red zone stuff, because I think you can use him in the entire area of the field, but of course also the red zone as well. Very much held in check against Texas. Notre Dame does not have Benjamin Morrison could be a much better game and showing for Jeremiah Smith. Then again, if receiver 3 goes for 87 yards, that normally ends up being a pretty good thing if Carnell Tate pops off too. We will be live for the College Football Playoff National Championship right here on the Ohio State Football Report. Do not miss out. Hit that sub button, youtube.com/GoBucks.